Looks like SPY's going ex-dividend tomorrow, usually about $1.10. All right, so after this 5 days of slow accumulation, we're finally starting to see some sideways action in the SPYs.
30 seconds at the top there. We'll get existing home sales data for Canada.
I think consolidated above the prior day's high that came back. I guess it's 267.5. We got 267.5 by 266.80. Nice little 70-cent range there. Less than 30 basis points. So let's see if we can have a real nice tight range day inside of yesterday's range. Maybe gather up some energy for the next move. IWM played catch up again. I know I mentioned this possibility the other day when it starts to show weakness. You know, comes retraces, failing, breaks to the downside, and then they rip it back up. I don't know what the hell this bar is right here, but it did spike above 152. I guess that's when they raised rates. Or no, that's actually, I don't know what that is. Went straight up in the morning, went straight back down, and kind of hung out here at 152.
Ranges decreased compared to the third quarter, earnings of 79 cents. Current consensus is up to 76 cents.
So this is 152.15. Support here, 151.30. I'd watch this 152.15. If you actually see a break above it and maybe spend 20 minutes above, then maybe it's worked its way into the 53. Not a heck of a lot going on in the indices. All right, so let's start with Teva, which I'm short a little bit right now. So they did a restructuring. Here's the daily. So this one, people thought it might go out of business, was down to $10, $11. It started with this gap down here to 25, went down to the 18, 19 area after 3 days where it is right now. It gapped up on some news. They tried to get it to go back above 20, failed, came into 17, tried again, and then they crushed it and made the new low. If we look at, you know, obviously we know VRX went from 11 to 22, 23 bucks the last few days. So same sector, both the big boys in the sector. Unfortunately, I wasn't here for the initial pop-up to 1890. I would have shorted that. It failed, came off $1. I started watching it when I was right here around 18. There was a 95-cent buyer. They held it. It lifted. I bought. It failed. Then I flipped it to short. And then it went up. So I mean, first thing I want to see is, you know, obviously pre-market, this 19 area, does it fail here? Do we get a move back down to this where this buyer was in the pre-market? So that'll be my first kind of thing. It also, when it had this move up here, they were accumulating it around 25, 30 cents. So another level to watch. So my plan right now is if it spikes up to 19 to short some more and see if I can capture, like on the open, a quick whoosh down. We'll see how far it comes off. Obviously, if it starts to hold above $19, got to play defense or look to see if they're willing to push it all the way to 20. It's already up 20% though. It's a big move day one. Not the same funds that kind of went crazy in VRX for a few days. And that's gapping down this morning on a downgrade. But this one went from, I took this from 18 to 22. So people are probably looking at that. And that's why they're trying to push it up through 19 right now. This one, by the way, that's gapping down on the JP Morgan downgrade. If they flush it back down to here to like 2050, you should buy it. It came back really nicely after this failure in the morning down to 21. It came all the way back up to 22.5. So it's pretty good. The next one is Roku. So Roku, I lost track of this. We were buying this a couple weeks ago in the 30s, right? So it came back, it ripped back up. You know, you had the Citron negative piece, I think. It went all the way down to the 30s. And here we go. So came back down here, then ripped back up to the mid-40s, started to look like we might retest the highs, failed at 48, 48.5. Then it sold off a little bit on the what was the news yesterday that people didn't like? It was, oh, the T-Mobile going into the TV service, whatever. So it's, people think that or it did react positively to the Disney Fox deal, thinking, I think it's that this other streaming competitor would be good for Roku. But regardless, it's up right now a couple of bucks, and it has been testing this area. It reminds me a little bit of Tesla a week or two ago when it kept on testing that 320, 322 area and then broke out, went up $15. Obviously, in this case, if it breaks out, it might go up a couple of dollars. But this is what we have. Had this big move, came back down, kind of tested the prior resistance yesterday, held it. Now we're prior support. Yeah, prior resistance was support yesterday. Now we're looking at the resistance. So maybe right on the open, it fails here, comes in again, and then does one of these jobs, goes up to 49.5, 50, something like that. It can be tricky and dangerous, so you want to be careful on it, even though it's very liquid. Next one is Disney. They're doing that deal where they're buying Fox assets. I don't think there's any obvious great trade. The problem with trying to do the merge or arb trade, which is usually the acquirer gets sold and they put it on, is I didn't even look at the spread because with Department of Justice going after AT&T buying Time Warner, which is a vertical merger, which normally government doesn't go after. This is a horizontal merger, so you would think there's pretty significant governmental risk there. So we kind of have the last few days to play with. 105, it spiked down as low there. I mean, that's a good level. It looks like somebody got it down there for a split second. But then, selling it to 107.70 to 108 as a short, I think that makes sense to me. So I'm just going to look to play off of those levels unless something develops intraday. Netflix also is just in the mix here because Disney buying the Fox assets makes their streaming service potentially stronger. And so you had Netflix selling off with some of the other tech names, caught a bid, but if people don't like this, they think that Disney becomes more of a major threat. I think it probably takes a couple of years for them to be any sort of threat. I think they're launching their streaming service in 2019. But stranger things have happened than this failing at 2-week resistance right here and coming back down and testing recent support. So that's that. 189, 189.30. You get that quick spike right on the open to there, gets back down below 188, starts to hold, and maybe you'll catch that drift. Maybe it doesn't go all the way down to 185, 184, but maybe you catch a move into this area right here. And then FNSR, this is one that I definitely did okay shorting this one above 25 on the open. It came in, they bid for it down at 24.20. I don't even remember if I flipped it to long. It failed again above 25. I was not around to trade it during this. But I thought, the same rule applies when we talk about in the morning meeting. It's a lot of people are in from that 18 area. They're up 30%. If you see it fail, at the opening high a couple of times, and you see some weakness below, if you get a quick spike back up to that 25 level, short this little spike here, it's 20 cents of risk at most, because then maybe you'll walk into the reversal. You might not get the reversal, but 20 cents of risk for catching the reversal every once in a while ended up coming off $1.70 or so, it looks like. And it actually showed you where to cover too, right? Because it held here, came back up, and then so you kind of had this range here. And then when it took out the low and came back above it, you could have covered some. You could have had a stop above this blue line right here. So this is pretty good. This morning, I would be just looking at this area right here, see if it makes a lower high. I'd also be looking for a flush into 23 to see if that's a good buying opportunity there. It could end up after such a big move consolidating inside of this area here for a couple of days and then show us the next move. Meanwhile, Teva, which I was up at 98 cents, I didn't get. Oh well. So hopefully some of you shorted it there close to 19. It's coming into the half now. There's your double top. So because I was talking to you guys, I got a little bit greedy where I put it up. I could have shorted it at 90. I was up at 98 cents. I don't even know if it got there. I could test it again by the open too. Fuck. Yeah, it's my offer stopped it. Damn. All right. Not necessarily my offer, I'm sure some other people were up there. WDC, this one failed right on the open. I don't think there was any real easy chance to get it at 86. So if you did try to short it, I mean, it had the quick spike there. We talked about, I didn't short it because 86 was where I was looking to get it. Then came down quickly to 84, made a lower high at 85. They were buying at 83 all morning and then started to hold below. Then they came back up, they bought it there again, came below, they started to buy it again. So there's definitely somebody buying it in this 83.40 to 83.50 area. So it's worth keeping an eye on there. Maybe they flush it through and gets back above 83.50 and it comes back up and tests 85, 86 again, or either direction. But I would use this. This is the key area to watch right there.
Hope you enjoyed that video. You can actually watch that video if you're subscribed to our Trader 90 before the market even opens. What stocks are in play, what levels in those stocks are important, and how we might go about attacking that stock. That's Steve Spencer, 20-year veteran trader, laying it out there every morning before the market even opens. A really, really powerful tool to start your session off on the right foot. So right now we're offering a trial that you can take advantage of to access this meeting and other meetings throughout the day. We have a meeting at 11 a.m. Eastern where you can sit down with Mike Bellafiore and listen to him talk about what's going on during the morning session, what stocks were in play, what the best trade opportunities were, as well as maybe some things that we're looking at heading into the afternoon session. So I really encourage you to take advantage of that trial.